All right, well, let's move on and do The Guardian now with a story about women's-only tower blocks, which is a great idea, really, isn't it? The only downside is all the light bulbs are out, the jars are unopened, and a single medium-sized spider is terrorising the entire building. Lewis, I apologise.
I do not approve of that.
Lewis wrote that one.
I don't want to be in the same room as that.
I was going to say you wrote that, but your jokes would never have that structure, would they? Clean structure.
It was a beautiful structure. They'd have that level of hatred. They'd have the feeling. You think lacked a bit of feeling.
Right.
Made up a structure. But there are plans afoot, or they're approved for Britain's first women's-only tower block. And this is a scheme for 102 flats in a 15-story tower in England. And basically, this is an example of the death of love.
I knew it. I knew you'd get that.
You know what?
The death of gout.
Not just putting women in this block, because you can't just put women in the block forever, because those women have boy kids, and the boy kids inherit the flat, and so eventually there'll be men there, men moving in. But because small flats, pay attention to this, small flats mean that people do not have children, and the way you control population is by putting people into tiny, tiny flats. And this company, they can't build any more student housing, which is the ultimate in small flats, okay? But the flats that they're building are so small, so these are the smallest flats, just for one woman.
Well, let me ask Paul. I mean, the scheme is for 102 flats to be rented all by single women. Where are they going to put all the cats? I mean, I don't think about it. Statistically, there'll be about 510 cats. I've worked it out. 5 cats per woman. That's 510.
I was going to make a really serious point. I just couldn't. I mean, brilliant. This is absolutely wonderful. This, obviously, like all of these things, it starts off with good intentions, but makes absolutely zero logical sense in the end. Yeah, by the way, they say that you need to be a single woman, I assume without children. I assume without. It doesn't say, though. However, men will be able to live there if they become a partner of the tenant, which is just the same as almost every other single-parent flat situation across council estates in the UK.
Exactly, and they've undermined the whole thing, because I don't mind, women's only block, fine, but they're not sticking to their own rule. They've got, if you have an adult child who's a man, they can be there, and you can have a transgender person, and so they can be there, and they're saying, oh, we'll be safe in this block. Well, will you? Because obviously not all trans people, but we've seen cases where you're not safe. So what's the point of it? They've undermined it, being too liberal about it.
Are you familiar? In New York, they used to have these buildings built for young women in the 1920s and teens, whatever, women coming into the city, and it's sort of like back in the day when people used to have to wear ties to go to restaurants, and you'd rock up without a tie, and they would say, "Here, just put this tie on." Right, just to get through the rules. They don't care about, and that's what they're going to do with these men. They're going to say to the man, "Listen, here's a dress. You want to come into the building?"
Yeah, they'll come into the building. Yeah, I'd like to see also a men's only block. They'll probably descend into chaos.
Oh, it'd be carnage, wouldn't
J.G.
it?
Ballard sort of high-rise or like a prison system. I don't know. Go on.
Just basically, what they're trying to do is make a safe haven, right?
Yeah.
They're not achieving it. This is just nonsense. If you're going to do it right.